My name is Mitch Conditt. I'm a general dentist in Fort Worth, Texas that I've been practicing since 1985. Mostly a restorative and cosmetic practice. Been in the same location, everything since day one. Noticed probably about 3 or 4 years ago that I was starting to get some ailments with my body. Had some neck surgery, shoulder surgery, hand surgery, different things like that. And I could kind of see the writing on the wall that this wasn't going to go on for a long, long time before I couldn't really work much more. So I started getting into a different field of dentistry, which was sleep and TMJ, which allowed me where I didn't really have to hold hand pieces, use my hands so much, do things like that. So I started getting into that, knowing that this was going to happen, and one day I would need to sell. And actually, it happened a lot faster than I thought. It almost happened overnight. All of a sudden, I couldn't hardly hold a hand piece. My hands just were in real bad shape. And interestingly, I had talked with Andy with DDSmatch probably about a year and a half earlier. Ran into him at the Chicago Midwinter meeting, and he just showed me what he was doing. He just took me over to his booth, and because I've known Andy for a long, long time, and so he just showed me what was going on, how things were doing, and what he was doing now. And he said, if you ever want to have your practice evaluated, he goes, we'll come in and evaluate it to see what's going on. And so I kind of kept that in mind. And then literally, it must have been about the summer, maybe even the early fall of the following year, it hit me, and I thought, oh, this is gonna happen really, really quick. And I called Andy and I said, I'm ready. And he kind of said, well, you're thinking what, another 6 months or what? And I said, no, I'm ready like tomorrow. And he got out here. They did the evaluation on the practice, did all the stuff, and I said, look, if you can just do this for me and let me keep doing what I'm doing, that would be great. And he said, don't even hardly need you. And he just kind of did everything he needed to do. It took very little effort on me or my time. It's not maybe 2 months later, he calls me up. He says, we've got someone that I think you might want to talk to. I said, great. He said, let me get everything, really kind of figured out before we even pull you in on it. But we think we may have a possibility. Weeks later, he said, this thing's gonna work. And apparently he was working with Dr. Blair, who bought my practice. He was working with her, and they were getting their ducks in a row and all that. I didn't even really know. I don't even know if I knew who it was back then. But I know that I didn't do anything. And basically at one point, not much longer, he said, well, I think we got a done deal. Then we got a couple of attorneys to wrap it up. And I mean, in no time at all, it was done. And it could not have been easier. And I've had several of my friends that I've talked to that have gone through, prospective buyer after buyer after buyer after buyer, and nothing ever panned out. Things fell through. It just didn't work out for some reason, whether it was funding or whatever it was. This thing just went smooth as silk. And literally by March the 2nd, we closed. You don't know when anything's going to happen. You don't know where you're going to need to sell. And from everything I've heard, it takes a long time to get everything in order. And particularly if something happens, it's a little bit of emergency to go in and try to get everything you need to get done in a short period of time. And then you go through a lot of different people to see who's going to work best, what's going to happen, and what have you. So when you're going through all of that, that can become a little bit of a hassle. So if you get that done and get completely prepared, I think everybody's going to feel a whole lot better about everything. Without a doubt, I would have them call and talk to DDSmatch and just ask them, what do I need to do? Should we get evaluated now? I'm sure they'll ask you, how long out do you think you are? I would literally tell anyone, call those guys up, follow exactly what they say to do, and just let them do it. I mean, there was zero effort on my part to do this. The DDSmatch for me, one, they were very honest. They were very forthright in everything they said. I mean, there was no hiding anything. They let you know exactly how the process is going to work, what's going on. The Blue, the company that came out and evaluated the practice, apparently, which I did not know before, apparently has a great reputation. They did everything very well. What I noticed afterwards is that once some of the banks or the lenders saw who was evaluating the practice, there was no discussion on what the valuation was. It really worth that? Was it not worth that? I guess they had the reputation that you just take their word for what it's worth. That was great.